Hi everyone and welcome to SWPL My Story, and today we are joined by Livingston's Beth McKay. How are you, Beth?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
No, I'm great and thanks so much for joining us today. So it's been a fantastic season for Livingston so far, sitting third in the league, chasing down Kilmarnock, looking for that playoff place. Queen's Park are right out in front at the top. But from where Livingston were, just got promoted into SWPL 2 last season, but with the squad that was already there and the experience that was in it, you've probably backed yourselves to kind of be in these top few positions come this point of the season.
I think we didn't really know what to expect, to be honest. Like we didn't really know how far away we were last year to competing in this league, and I think initially our aim was just to compete in every game and to be challenging and trying to get a win as much as we could. And then as the seasons progressed, we realized how much we are competing, and it was then to get as far up the table as possible and ideally get into the at least a playoff place.
Yeah, and as I touched on there with the squad and players such as yourself, you've played for a number of teams in the top flight. Sharon Hughes, as an example, vastly experienced player that's won this league with Hearts. So, how valuable do you think that experience coming when it starts getting tight with 9 games to go is going to be?
Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna help. A lot of us have been in a similar position before where we can kind of use our experience, like you said, to try and get us through these last remaining games, get as many points on the board as possible, and try and get as high up the table as possible.
You've got a huge game. Obviously, there's no games this weekend with it being the League Cup final, but your next game a week on Sunday against Kilmarnock, it's a real opportunity for you. It's been very tight between yourselves and Kilmarnock all season. Every time you've played one another, I don't expect any different this time.
Yeah, next Sunday's gonna be a tough game for sure. It's always been, like you said, a tough game against them, but we got the win the last time, so hopefully we can do the same again next weekend. But we know it's not going to be an easy game. We're going to have to be at our best to get a win. Yeah,
You joined Livingston last January, so you were there for the second half of the season, winning promotion, and then you've been here for the obviously the full campaign this season. What was the draw for yourself? Obviously, you've played for other teams, as I said, like Hearts and Spartans, and you were at Hibs as well. What was the draw for Livingston, particularly? It's from the outside, it seems like it's a club with a big project and big ambition. They seem to have all the infrastructure there, but I'm assuming and guessing you probably had other offers elsewhere, maybe to play in the top flight. But what was it about Livingston that you thought was the right fit for you?
yeah. Ultimately, it came down to the location. I had just bought a flat in Livingston, and I was beginning to get to a point where I wasn't taking football as seriously anymore. I was just doing it for fun. I wanted to just enjoy it a bit more, a little bit less pressure. So yeah, ideally it came down to the location just being where I live. And like you said, the background going on at Livingston in terms of the women's side is up and coming, and I saw that as well, and I just wanted to be part of that.
We were just chatting off camera. So you're studying a master's at the moment in
Yeah.
physiotherapy, very demanding course. But we always like to chat about the background, the education of a lot of the players because more often than not they have or are studying something. I think it's really important to convey that, particularly to the viewers and the listeners who are a bit younger and maybe in academies, that it is very important to have something behind you because you're a long time retired in football, and we're not at a point yet where the female game is paying the hundreds of thousands of pounds a week that you can just sit with your feet up for the rest of your life, and you're going to have something. So, how demanding has that been throughout your footballing career up until now, and how demanding are you still finding it? But obviously, the ultimate goal is to have that qualification, and then you can then go on another career either during, alongside, or after you've finished playing.
I think I'm definitely at a point now of my career as such where I was beginning to realize I needed something else other than football to fall back on. Um, I'm 27 now, so not too old, but beginning to realize that football's not going to be around forever. I need something else where I can fall back on. And I did have jobs and I was working. I was able to balance it, but it was always a struggle working full time and trying to play as close to full time as possible with the likes of Hearts and Partick Thistle. I think it is a challenge. Like you don't really have a lot of free time for yourself. And that's again why I joined Livingston within the championship at the beginning of last season. I just wanted a bit more relax and chill and a little bit less pressure. And it allowed me to go through the process of applying for university, which I only started this January. So it's a 2 year course. So I'll be 29 by the time I graduate and I'm ready to start my career as such in physiotherapy. But I want to keep playing football as long as I can, as long as my body is able to. So as long as I can and balance both, do both, I'm going to try.
So when you're looking ahead in your career post football, would you like to stay within football? Obviously, with your physiotherapy, there's plenty of opportunities there. Is that like the ambition to keep yourself involved and kind of merge your two passions?
I think so. It is so hard to tell just now because I've just started and there's so many areas of physiotherapy that people don't even realize, like within respiratory, like helping people with COPD and asthma, or neuro, like strokes and Parkinson's disease. There's so many aspects to physiotherapy. It's not just like the muscles and the bones and sport. So I think I just need to go through the process of my placements. I'll learn through then, but ideally, when I was applying, that was my goal, to stay within football when I've retired, to still have that connection to football, which is something I've loved throughout my life. I wouldn't like to not have it involved in my life in a certain way. So ideally, that is the aim, to be a physio within a football team and to help players through injuries or prevent injuries. That's the aim.
That's great, Beth, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today and wish you all the very best in the running for this season.
Thanks.
And thanks everyone for joining us on SWPL My Story.